Thank you for watching another informational video from Salzano Custom Concrete. This video is going to be information about concrete cracks. So I get this question a lot. Customers wondering why concrete cracks, when it cracks, where it cracks, asking about warranty issues, what do we do? This information in this video is somewhat generic, and I just want to kind of explain how concrete works. Some people think that, concrete that's newer may be more susceptible, concrete older may be more susceptible, but I just wanted to come out here. This is just an old sidewalk. This is probably, 15 years old, and this to demonstrate what I'll call part one. I'll have another video with some more information. We'll show maybe another section. We didn't necessarily build this, but just to explain how this works. So let's say concrete in general has a 100% chance of cracking. That's reasonable if you're getting ready to buy concrete, or if you have concrete. Let's assume that right from the beginning it's 100% going to crack. Let's just put that right on the table, because I say this to everybody, all of our customers, I say the same thing. The good news is concrete most of the time is going to crack where we want it to crack, and that's what these control joints are all about. These grooves that you see in the sidewalk, that's what this is all about. These are called control joints. These grooves are here not for expansion and contraction. That's what most people think. This sidewalk can't expand and contract at those grooves because this is all one solid slab. So the purpose of these grooves is to intentionally weaken the concrete every 3 or 4 feet on a sidewalk, because it's 3 or 4 feet wide. We're making little squares. We're making a 3 or 4 foot square. We've got a control joint here, we've got a control joint here, and we've made essentially a little square of concrete. But again, this is all one solid slab. We're weakening the concrete every 3 or 4 feet on this sidewalk, so that when the concrete cracks, notice my choice of words, let's again say it is 100% likely to crack. So when it cracks, it's going to take the path of least resistance. We want the crack to be hidden. We want it down in these grooves where you don't see it. This really becomes all about aesthetics. We don't want to see that crack because it's ugly. So you walk down the sidewalk and people say, hey, make my concrete just like this, not a crack in sight, right? People sometimes walk me down a sidewalk or a driveway and say, hey, this is beautiful. Do it like this. Do a good job so that it won't crack, because we don't see any cracks, right? Well, look closer. As we walk down this sidewalk, I'm going to zoom in on these control joints. I don't see a crack in there. I don't see a crack in there. And if you keep walking, typically every 3 or 4 of these joints, here's one right here. Look down in that control joint, there's a crack that runs right at the base of that joint. We call these joints 95% effective. So 95% of the time, you'll probably have a crack, but it's going to be down in that joint where you don't see it. It's very successful. It works great. So again, you walk down here, you look down in these joints. This is a little bit different. We got some separation. This, like I said, this sidewalk's old. This is a little bit deteriorated here. So let's kind of not consider that. But look at this section here. This is newer. This is probably 5 years old. The rest of it was probably 15 years old, but same thing here. As you walk down here, nothing in that one. Here we go. Crack right down in that control joint, exactly where we wanted it to happen. Concrete's weaker at that joint because it's thinner. We're taking a little bit of concrete out along that groove. In that groove, the concrete's about 3.5 inches thick. In the main part of the slab over here, it's about 4 inches thick. So we've made a weak spot in that concrete, encouraging the crack to happen down in that groove. Here we go again, right there, right down in that groove. So if we do the same concept in, let's say, a driveway or a patio, same exact concept. We're going to pour a slab. The spacing on these joints would be bigger. Spacing would probably be 10 or 12 feet. Industry standard guidelines for where these joints would be, but the concept is exactly the same. Concrete's going to crack. We're going to put these grooves in to weaken the slab so that the crack occurs down in these grooves where we don't see it. Now, some customers have requested that we don't put those joints aesthetically. Some people don't like the look of those joints, or seams, some people call them. And if somebody says, I don't want the seams, I don't want the joints, well, then, the concrete's still likely to crack, but it's going to crack where it wants, and you're now going to see what we now call a random hairline crack, which is visible. The crack is the same. There's nothing inherently different about a crack that's in a joint versus one that you see. It's the same crack. We would say a crack is a crack is a crack. It doesn't make any difference. Just one that you see, one that you don't see. So anyway, there you go. So in summary, concrete cracks, number one. Number two, 95% of the time, the concrete will crack down in these joints. That's the purpose of them. They're not there for expansion and contraction. They're there to weaken the concrete so that the crack occurs down in that joint where you don't see it. No repair necessary, nothing to do. It's just simply how concrete works. Anyway, that's pretty much it for now. This is part one. I'm going to show you another slab here in another video, and we'll do another part two. But there you go again. Crack perfectly acceptable down in the control joint. And that's it. Thank you for joining in another informational video from Salzano Custom Concrete. Thank you.